and makes a hole in the wall. Instead, they get there afterwards, and she's like, Eddie, put that fucking hole in the wall.
Or what to do, if she's fucking rips your 6th grade macaroni art you've been saving all your life. She has to go.
She has to.
I've been saving that macaroni art since I was in 6th grade. You just rip it.
June 20. If you think that's insensitive about domestic violence, go complain at the San Jose Improv June 29th and 30th. Protest his show. That'd be awesome if you had protesters like, domestic violence is not funny. And you could just be on the news going, I just made it funny.
That's what that fucking, like, I was working with Mike DeStefano in Florida, and he was talking about cunts and you bitch and you whore. And this lady comes up to him right after the show, stands in line in front of all the fans, and goes, I want to let you know something. My ex-husband used to beat me and lock me up in the restroom for hours. And Mike DeStefano looked at her and said, okay, ma'am, do you want to buy a CD or not?
No, were you guys were paired up together on that show?
And that's Comic Standing Tour.
That I didn't get a piece of.
Sucks.
Thanks, Cats. Well, I thought after I won the Money Cup with Hideo Nomo, everything was squared away, man.
But he researches his stuff, too.
Yeah.
Corey said that you research your stuff. What do you mean? Research is what? Domestic violence?
Do you remember where I used to run into you all the time?
No.
Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble, that's right, yeah.
Why? Why were you hanging out at Barnes & Noble?
So reading for free.
I thought it was
I told her that.
Everybody just goes there to take a shit.
I'll go to Barnes & Noble.
It's the only place, at any downtown in the country, it's the only place you can go take a shit. It's
That
Barnes &
or
Noble.
the downtown library kids section.
You must look great in those little tables.
Man, you don't want to go use the restroom in the biology or all these places. These homeless people, they go to the downtown library and they go to the part of the library where you can hide, like I don't know what they call it, man. I can't think of it right now.
Vendors?
Yeah, no. There's like history, art, then the bottom, science. They hide in the science books.
They hide in the science books?
Yeah, because there's like a science section where all the history of science is there.
Right.
It's always empty. You see a homeless guy reading about physics and shit, sleeping on a book.
See, that's what would interest me is the science section.
So those bathrooms homeless people already covered them. But if you go to the kids' books, clean, no homeless.
Yeah,
guy.
Nobody wants to drop a
homeless
deuce.
guy reading Danny the Dinosaur there.
Do you skip your favorite sporting events or concerts because you think tickets are too expensive? Think again. ScoreBig.com makes live events affordable, my friends. 40% of live event tickets go unsold each year. Even when the arena or stadium looks full, thousands of tickets are comped out or even given away to make it look like a sellout. Don't you want those tickets? ScoreBig.com works directly with the box office and other ticket providers to sell these tickets to you. Every ticket on ScoreBig.com is guaranteed to be between 10% and 60% below retail price. Great seats from the front row to the rafters. NBA game tickets, baseball tickets, football tickets, concerts, everything. Purchase your tickets days, weeks, or even months in advance. There are no fees or shipping charges ever. It is impossible to pay full price on ScoreBig.com. You are guaranteed to save on tickets. Register on ScoreBig.com this week and use the code J to get an extra, that's J-A-Y, to get an extra $10 off your purchase this week only. Go to ScoreBig.com, click on the radio button, and enter the code J. That's J-A-Y. Always less than full price. Never any fees. ScoreBig.com. That's ScoreBig.com. Enter the code J. Don't forget to enter J-A-Y at ScoreBig.com. When you did the George Lopez show, was that like a Mecca moment? I'm being serious. Being a Latino American, is George Lopez like your king?
Paul Rodriguez is.
Huh?
I like Paul Rodriguez.
Paul Rodriguez?
Yeah. But I like George Lopez. He's a good friend.
He's a
nice
comic.
guy, man.
Such a great comic,
He works hard, dude.
He does work. He used to come to the Laugh Factory. I've said it on the podcast. He'd always be in like a suit. Motherfucker smell good, clean shaven.
Suave, huh?
Huh?
Suave, huh?
Suave. And he would go do his like 20-minute set.
He leaves. He
leave.
He reaches over to shake your hand. You can smell cologne.
Yeah. The shit was tight. So when you did his show, was that like a huge, like who Who is like the Mexican king as far as celebrities go? Like
George Lopez and Paul Rodriguez to me.
But Paul Rodriguez?
Yeah.
I did a movie with Paul Rodriguez once, and he came in this giant orange Hummer with like spinning rims. She had a fucking smokestack on it.
They have
like
a Caltrans sign on it?
Yes, Caltrans had a fucking sofa. It had big screen. It was the most Mexican fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. Like it had a mural and shit. It was orange. It was waxed. Had like his son skateboarding a fucking mural on the door. Paul Rodriguez's son, for those of you listening,
he had his
like
son's
the Tony Hawk of skateboarding.
Yeah, he had his son's Malou cup right in the front. And an ornament.
Nice. His son, P-Rod, has his own sneakers. You didn't know this.
His
Paul
own store.
Rodriguez's son, Paul Rodriguez, is like Tony Hawk fame. He's Paul Rodriguez. Some of you listening that watch Fuel TV know exactly who we're talking about. The rest of the demographic just went, fuck this. I'm listening to Greg Proops. So anyway, he shows up in this orange Hummer, okay? And Ed Begley Jr., Ed Begley Jr. once said to him, you know, Paul, with that car, the amount of gas that truck uses, you could feed a family in the rainforest or in Africa for 3 weeks. And Paul goes, yeah, but they're not funny. That shit made me laugh. Like the best response. You know what?
Funny.
If they could learn some fucking jokes, they'd have a car. They wouldn't be in that fucking village. They wouldn't be in Boyle Heights anymore.
I remember Paul Rodriguez with the Laugh Factory. He had showed up with his car, but I didn't see his car. He just told me, "You see my car? Did you see my car?" No, I haven't seen it. Carlos Mencia was on stage, and he's telling everybody how he just made $1.5 million in comedy. This before the Mencia show. This before
he made $5.5 million in comedy.
Before that,
when he was slumming.
And then Paul Rodriguez goes up there after him, and he doesn't mention nothing about his $1.5 million. But at the parking lot, you know, when everybody's getting in their car, I swear, dude, Mencia was leaving in an SUV Hyundai. All right, Hyundai. I kid you not, with a Hyundai SUV. Paul Rodriguez's car shows up. It was one of those Ferraris with a you could see the motor in the back.
Wow.
And he just revved it up and went, next time you should make $3 million, homie. And he took off.
Where does Paul, you just did a movie with Paul, right? Or
yeah, I'm not like that no more. It went straight to iTunes.
But you can get it on iTunes.
Yes.
Use the Amazon banner on jmohr.com. Help out Felipe, help out me. And so you got to work with one of your comedy heroes.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. They always say never meet your heroes because it's disappointing. But in your case, it was the opposite.
The opposite.
He was great to you?
He was great. Even if he wasn't great, I would have not judged him on that. Who am I?
Right.
He probably meets thousands of people.
But if he was a dick, you would have been broken hearted.
Oh, yeah, I would have choked him. Like I almost choked. I almost choked out Stephen Wright.
Really?
Yeah, Stephen. I was working at Dodger Stadium. You know, getting my chicken done. I see Stephen Wright. I'm the only one that recognize him. I'm right there. The chicken's burning. Oh shit, that's Stephen fucking Wright. And I go over there. I just said, I'm like wearing an apron. I'm looking like a dirty Mexican in the kitchen. I walked up to him. I said, I tried to wipe my hand before I tried to shake his hand. Just wipe my hand. And I said, hey, Stephen Wright, you're like my favorite comedian of all time. And he goes, thanks. And then he put his hand inside his shirt, and he shook my hand with his shirt. Oh, but I still shook his hand, though. I didn't care. I said, wow, thank you, sir. And then before I let go, I just held his shirt a little bit and let go.
You held on to his shirt? It's just because he thought you were so dirty.
So dirty.
That he couldn't possibly have flesh touch flesh.
I probably had salmonella in my hands or something.
But that's good for you,
But that didn't, see, to everybody else, that would have been like, fuck this guy. But to me, it was like, all right, I'm dirty as fuck. I understand.
You knew your hand, you wiped your own, you knew you were so dirty that even you wiped your hand off. So he really was extending what you did.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you came up to him clean and said hi, and he was like, ugh. And then
but he didn't see me clean my hand. I was cleaning my hands on the way to see him.
Oh, all right. He said, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. And he shook my hand like this.
I once met a vendor in Dodger Stadium. He wanted to shake my hand. And I told him, could you pay? I handed
Wait, hold on. I'll write a Stephen Wright joke right now.
a vendor at Dodger Stadium wanted to shake my hand, so I handed my hand to the guy in the seat next to me, and I said, pass this down.
That's all right. It's kind of stupid. So Paul helped you. He was one of your idols. So if you're a Mexican American, who's like the king? I'm not trying to be racist. I'm being serious. Like, because I worked with Eddie Murphy, and I was so disappointed. He was super nice and super cool, but when I would repeat his jokes from like his albums back to him, he would laugh and go, "That's funny, man. Who is that?" And I'm like, "That's you." And he goes, "Really? Oh yeah, I guess that is." And I was like, "What part of your life when you're making the clumps like 20 million in the movie?" Does that comedy valve just fucking shut off that you don't remember that your dad said, "Your dog don't know his name, Eddie? Coco, where the fuck is he going?" And I go, "That's you." And he goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." And I go, "What's so funny to me is all the comedy happens like off camera because if the dog knew his name, there's no joke. The dog does know his name because the dog looks at the father and goes in the other direction." And Eddie looked at me like I was retarded. And then finally, like, he had to walk away. He had to figure out something to walk away. He goes, "Yeah, I guess that is like one of them three-dimensional jokes." And walked away, like, left me standing there like I was a fucking idiot. Like, I was like, maybe it's not funny. Maybe it's like wait, that's Eddie Murphy, right? Like, I was questioning whether it was Eddie Murphy's joke. So, but Paul was great. And George, when you go out to the Lopez audience, is that a super, like, is it filled with Mexicans or is it just young people?
I was young, but it was too many lights. It was like young Latino girls, young Latino guys, and white people scattered places so you can see them, and blacks in a band.
Is backstage like his crew? Was it most producers? Did he hire a lot of Latinos?
I don't even know. Backstage was a lot of young crew, a lot of women.
But were they Latino?
Latino women.
Okay, good.
A lot of people in charge were Latino women. And there was some couple of white assistants, Jewish-looking guys.
Who would be the white king? I guess Harrison Ford?
Nah.
No? Jesus. The Mexican guy shot down
Tom
white
Cruise,
king.
man.
Tom Cruise. But is he like white? Doesn't he transcend white into like an alien type culture?
He does, man. Ever since that scientific whatever he's
I don't know. Don't say it because there's going to be a knock at the door if you say that shit out loud.
I know. I might join.
You should join. You should join and do it. How come no one's ever joined Scientology and done like a documentary about it? Like how hard? I mean, they got their shit so tight that nobody can even ever fake it and leave. Like once you fake it, you're in. It's like a fucking fish going, "Look, I'll just swim into the net, get what I need, and I'll swim out." I love...
You did a joke once on MTV when you were hosting the show. I don't know if you were hosting or giving out an award, and no one got it. I died, though.
Which one?
You said you were giving away the MTV award for the MTV World. And you said, yeah, they have MTV, the real world in Africa. The complaints are different. Who ate my bug? That shit was funny, man.
Thank you. That was the I think that was the X Games.
Or the MTV award or something?
It wasn't an MTV show.
Or
it was
a video game award or something.
Yeah, it was something. I think it was the X Games. I'm not sure. I broke dance on that show too. I came out and I was breakdancing.
MTV Real World in Africa. MTV
Who ate my bug? That was my bug.
Ate my bug.
And then no one laughed, and I thought,
died,
thank you, brother. It was fun. I don't know if you're like me, but if a joke eats it, I have to figure out a way to just keep driving it into the sun until it gets in their eyes. So instead of if it worked, I would have just moved on to the next joke. But you'll probably remember, I go, "Who ate my bug?" And like no one, like it was fucking. I heard the air conditioning click on, bro.
That sucks.
And then I was like, "All right, fuck them." And I go, "I was saving that."
Yeah.
And then no one laughed, and I go, "Who ate my bug?" I brought it home from work. I didn't finish, and I just kept. They edited it out, obviously, but there was like a good 60 seconds of me not leaving. And if I do like a Norm Macdonald impression, there's parts where like no one laughs because to do Norm, you got to say really weird stuff. Felipe Esparza, he's from Guatemala or something, Mexico. Yeah, I'm not sure. But people will like fade out unless they're like rabid for the impression. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. But with Tracy impressions, it doesn't make any sense. But Tracy's a much funnier thing to just listen to. So with Norm, I have to go so far out of the circle that they realize how far out I am. And they're no longer laughing at the impression. They're laughing that I'm talking about fucking nonsense.
Like you mentioned all this, you're talking like Norm Macdonald. You mentioned, yeah, how about Ring Tin Tin?
Rin Tin Tin. Oh my God, you're gonna name that dog anything, you know? You're gonna name him like Joe or Mike, you know? Yeah, I got a great name for that puppy. I want that one right there. He looks like he's mine, yeah. How about Rin? Nah, I don't like that name. Well, we have one of us wants Rin, my son,
What?
oh my God, he wants to name the dog Tin. And my daughter wants to name it Tin also. So we combined all three names and named it Rin Tin Tin. And Japanese people keep answering to it. Whenever we're in Chinatown, we say, hey, Rin Tin Tin, and people come out and hand us a duck. Oh, my God. So, exactly. I guess is my point to you. How come you don't drive anymore? The